The storm was already rumbling when the little girl's wheelchair got stuck in the mud. Cars sped past, rain hammered the ground, and the world didn't slow for anyone, not even for an 8-year-old who hadn't walked a single step in her life. But one man stopped. A man no one expected. A poor mechanic with oil on his shirt and a heart stronger than steel. And that moment changed all their lives. The story. Daniel wiped the sweat off his forehead as he walked out of the auto shop after another 12-hour shift. His hands were tired, cracked, and stained with grease, hands that once dreamed of building inventions, not fixing other people's broken engines. But dreams cost money. And he didn't have any. He was on his way to catch the last bus when he saw her, a wheelchair, tilted sideways, caught in a puddle, with a tiny girl gripping the wheels, struggling not to cry. Her mother was kneeling helplessly beside her, soaked in the rain despite her expensive coat. "I'm so sorry, Lily. I can't lift it alone," the woman whispered desperately. Daniel didn't think twice. "Need a hand?" he asked gently. The mother looked up, eyes swollen, voice trembling. "Please, yes." He lifted the wheelchair, careful not to startle the child. Lily looked up at him with curious blue eyes, observing his rough hands, the oil stains, the way he breathed heavily but smiled warmly anyway. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice was soft, and her legs, completely still. The mechanic who noticed what others didn't. As they moved the wheelchair to the sidewalk, Daniel noticed something unusual. The motorized components were outdated, the support cushions were uneven, and the joints were squeaking. Whoever designed it didn't understand a child's movements or needs. "You know," Daniel said, kneeling down, "this chair isn't right for her." The mother frowned. "We've bought the best models money can buy." Daniel shook his head. "Best for adults maybe. Not for an 8-year-old body that's still growing." The girl stared at him. "Can you fix it?" He didn't know why he said what he said next. Maybe because nobody had ever asked for his help like that. Maybe because he saw something of himself in her helplessness. "I can try," he replied softly. "A broken family, and a secret pain." The mother introduced herself as Maya Hawthorne, one of the wealthiest businesswomen in the city. But money couldn't hide the grief in her eyes. "You don't have to do anything," she murmured. "We've tried everything. Doctors, surgeons, physical therapists, they all say Lily will never walk." Lily lowered her head. Daniel looked at her legs, thin, weak, but not lifeless. "I've seen engines with less potential still run," he said. It was a strange comparison, but Lily brightened. Maya sighed. "I wish hope was enough." The mechanic's dream that never had a future. Daniel led them to the auto shop where he worked. It was messy, loud, and smelled like burnt rubber, but it was where he had built things nobody ever cared about. DIY gadgets. Custom parts. Sketches of inventions. Dreams abandoned because life kept throwing bills, debts, and loneliness at him. But Lily watched everything with wonder. "You build things," she said, her voice glowing. "Only the things the world needs," Daniel replied. "Then maybe I need something too," she whispered. The Miracle Project. For the next 3 weeks, Daniel worked after hours, unpaid, unnoticed, unthanked. He redesigned the wheelchair from scratch. Lightweight reinforced frame. Joint-supporting shock absorbers. Ergonomic seating for spinal alignment. Micro-movement sensors to encourage muscle stimulation. A walking assist exoskeleton built into the chair. Gradual standing mechanism for therapy. Child-level sensitivity controls. He poured everything he had into it, his knowledge, his heart, his long-lost passion for making something that mattered. Every evening, Lily and Maya visited. Sometimes Lily talked about school. Sometimes Maya cried when she thought no one saw. Sometimes Daniel worked quietly, hiding how much he struggled to afford spare parts. But he always smiled. Because for the first time in years, he felt useful. The first test, and the shocking moment. The day of the test arrived. Daniel knelt beside Lily. "Ready?" Lily nodded, gripping the new armrests nervously. The chair hummed to life. Slowly, gently, it lifted her upward. Maya gasped. "No, no, that's impossible." Lily's legs trembled as the support braces activated. For the first time in her life, her feet touched the ground. And then, with Daniel holding her hands lightly, she took her first step. Then another. And another. Her mother dropped to her knees, tears pouring down her face. My baby, she's walking. Lily cried too. Daniel turned away, wiping his eyes. When the truth came out. A week later, Maya invited Daniel to her mansion. He hesitated, feeling out of place in his worn shirt. She led him into a massive living room where doctors, engineers, investors, and business partners were waiting. Daniel, Maya said proudly, these people design medical technology. And none of them did what you did. Everyone stared, not with pity, but with respect. Lily ran, toward him. Daniel. Show them what you made. He knelt and hugged her. Maya stepped forward, eyes filled with gratitude. You didn't just fix a chair, she said. You gave my daughter a future. You gave me hope. And you reminded me that miracles come from unexpected people. She took a deep breath. I want to fund your inventions. Your ideas. Your dreams. Let's build more miracles, together. Daniel stared at her, speechless. He had walked into their lives as a poor mechanic. But he walked out as the man who changed everything. The message to the world. Miracles aren't magic. They're made by people who refuse to stop trying, even when the world doubts them. Daniel had nothing. But he gave everything. And it became a miracle. And sometimes, the poorest hearts create the richest miracles. The news spread faster than Daniel expected. After Lily's first steps, Maya insisted on recording a short video, not for the world, but for herself. However, one of the therapists who witnessed the moment shared a few seconds online. Within days, thousands of people were commenting. Is this real? Who built this? Where is this mechanic? My son needs this. My daughter hasn't walked in years. Daniel's quiet life was no longer quiet. The world comes knocking. At the auto shop, customers no longer came just for oil changes or engine repairs. Now, parents of disabled children showed up, some carrying medical reports, some with tears in their eyes, and some simply desperate. One woman stood outside the garage holding her son's tiny hand. Please, she whispered. I heard what you did for that billionaire girl. I can't pay anything, but could you look at my son? Even if it's impossible. Daniel felt something heavy settle in his chest. I'll try, he replied, just as he had said to Maya weeks ago. But the truth was hitting him. He was one man. With limited tools. With no space. With barely any money left. How could he help the whole world? Maya's offer that shook him. That evening, Daniel visited the Hawthorne mansion to check Lily's progress. She now walked 20 steps every morning and 20 at night. It wasn't perfect, but it was still a miracle. Lily jumped with excitement when she saw him. Daniel. Watch. I practiced just like you said. She took careful, determined steps toward him, her legs shaking but her smile brighter than ever. Maya entered the room, watching her daughter proudly before turning to Daniel. We need to talk, she said softly. She led him into her study, a room filled with legal papers, framed awards, and a large whiteboard full of sketches. Daniel blinked when he saw the drawings, diagrams of the wheelchair he built, except cleaner, improved, refined. You drew these, he asked. Maya shook her head. No. My engineering team did. They've been studying your design. Daniel froze. We want to build this, she continued. Not just for Lily. For thousands like her. He swallowed hard. I don't. I'm not a real engineer. Maya stepped closer. You are exactly what a real engineer is. Someone who sees the problem and creates the solution. He lowered his gaze. I don't belong in boardrooms. I belong in garages. Maya smiled gently. Then we'll build you a garage big enough for the world. The mechanic who wasn't used to help. Money had never followed Daniel. Loss had. He remembered nights where he slept on cold metal benches in the shop when rent was overdue. Meals replaced with coffee because he couldn't afford food. Dreams shelved because no one cared about a poor man's ideas. He feared taking Maya's offer. He feared failing her daughter. He feared giving hope he couldn't deliver. Maya, what if I mess up? She placed a hand on his shoulder. You already changed one life, she said. Now let us help you change more. Her voice cracked. Please. You don't know how many parents are praying for someone like you. Lily's secret fear. While the adults talked, Lily watched from the hallway. She had a secret she hadn't told anyone. Every night, when the house was quiet, she stood beside her bed holding the rail, trying to balance on her own feet. Sometimes she could stand for 5 seconds. Sometimes she fell after one. But she always tried. Because she didn't want Daniel to feel like he failed. Tonight, she tried again. Her legs trembled as she pushed herself up. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. She fell softly onto the bed and sighed in frustration. Then a shadow appeared at the door. Daniel. You okay, kiddo? She wiped her eyes. I don't want to disappoint you. He walked in and sat beside her. You could never disappoint me. She looked up. What if I stop walking again? What if the miracle goes away? Daniel shook his head slowly. The real miracle isn't the chair, he whispered. It's you. Your courage. Your stubbornness. Your heart. Her lip trembled. But what if I fall? Then I'll be there, he said. To help you stand again. The setback that changed everything. The next morning, news arrived that shook the entire project. The medical technology company Maya partnered with changed their mind. They wanted full control of Daniel's design, and offered Maya millions to buy him out completely. Maya refused. They threatened legal action. Reporters surrounded the mansion. Headlines exploded. Billionaire funding unlicensed mechanic for medical devices. Is this miracle even safe? Child's treatment sparks controversy. Daniel's heart sank as the world twisted his intentions. Maya gathered her team. We are not giving up, she declared. They can scare us, but they cannot stop us. Then she turned to Daniel. This fight is bigger than us now. And I need you to be strong. For the first time since the miracle. He wasn't sure he could be. The moment that reignited everything. That evening, while reporters camped outside, and lawyers prepared their threats, something happened that no lawsuit could shake. Lily entered the living room with slow, careful steps. Without the chair. Maya's jaw dropped. Daniel froze. Lily was standing. On her own. Mama, she whispered. Look. She took one step. Then another. She trembled, but she didn't fall. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. Lily smiled proudly through her shaking. I'm walking because you both believed in me. Maya collapsed onto her knees, crying openly. Daniel covered his face with his hands. No camera was recording. No reporters were watching. No critics were complaining. Just a mother, a mechanic, and a little girl who refused to stop trying. And that moment reminded them. Miracles don't need permission.